think we're live on Facebook as well. Okay. And send your request. Okay. So we got the museum. Go live with the museum. Hello, museum. So, folks, we're trying something a little different today. Oops, sorry. Hope I'm not making you nauseous with the moving. Hello, Will. Hello. Hi. 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 So, folks, we've got... Okay, so welcome to the Art Speaks Project's Art Hive, Cyber Hive that we're doing. And today we have a special guest. We have Will Hollingshead, all the way from the museum. Yes, the Sault Ste. Marie Museum. He is here with us. And we're doing a little experiment. So you can see Will if you go to our Instagram feed, which is at the Art Speaks Project. That's our page on Instagram. Or I'm thinking from the museum's page, you'll see, I think, Will and myself. So that would be at Sioux Museum. The Will is saying I'm hoping, but I think so. I can hear you laugh, so you're there. I can tell you're there, and I can see you. So we're just doing a little bit of an experiment here. Hopefully, you guys will enjoy it. So typically, as an art hive goes, we're going to talk a bit about what are the holdings at the museum, what kind of artifacts does Will take care of, that kind of stuff, what kind of things does Will do, and he's gonna give us some education about stuff that he has at the museum, and we're gonna use that as a prompt for any kind of art making that you'd like to do. Again, any kind of art supplies that you have are great. And and again, if you're watching on Instagram, we typically go for about an hour, and then Instagram cuts out, and then we have to kind of switch and restart it again. If you're following on Facebook, unfortunately, you're not going to see Will, which is sad. And actually, I'm going to turn the music down a bit so you can hear him maybe. And what'll happen is Facebook will just keep going. So we'll try to be, mindful of the fact that folks on Facebook, hopefully, will keep you in the loop as to what's going on. If I can figure out how to show you the phone while we do this, because he's on the phone and you guys on Facebook are on my tablet. So okay, so just give me a sec and then we're going to start. Hold on. Okay. A little less loud. All right. So, I don't know. Hi, Will. Can you hear me, Will? You can hear me because you're waving. Hi. Hello. Hi. Do you have your volume? You have your volume up on your phone or on your device?
It's pretty good. Can you hear me?
Oh yes. Now, yes. Yes.
Okay.
There was much squeaking before. Okay. So that's good. I don't know if I showed... I can kind of show you to... I can kind of show you to the Facebook peeps for a bit. There you go, folks. There is Will. And it's making the Facebook feed kind of do something weird. But if you're lucky, maybe you can follow on both Facebook and Instagram. And get the full effect. All right. Here we go. Waving at all these people. So, Will, what can you tell us about what's happening at the museum? What do you have planned for us?
Well, hi everybody. Thank you to Maria and Art Speaks, one of our most fantastic community partners that work with us here at the St. Marie Museum, which is a group partnership, but we really work with Maria and her crew to kind of bring some community art into the museum and kind of activate some of the space we have. So, as many of you are all dealing with, we're also stuck at home. Unfortunately, I'm able to come into the museum to check on things and make sure that stuff is alright. And check on the space and still be able to kind of bring you guys some stuff. So if you've been following us at the Sea Museum, we've been doing some posts kind of some stuff that we have hidden in our archives that aren't usually shared with people. We have a very vast archive as well as the collections. A lot of we can't display necessarily all of the time, so this is a great opportunity to bring that to everybody and share kind of some of that local history with you guys. So, kind of in the spirit of this archive, normally Maria is here enjoying the space with us, and we're having some fun, and well, some new kind of bands and people joining in are also here enjoying the space as well. So, while you're not here, we figured maybe we could bring you some stuff that we have in the collection, inspire you a little bit with springtime and how things are going there. So, I know today, looking outside really isn't the most day, but
it's okay. It's okay.
It's been sunny. It's been nice.
Yeah.
Maybe gardening, some outside work. So
yeah,
we figured maybe we could use some stuff from the collection that we had to inspire some different kind of art making. So again, like a lot of us will be outside enjoying the flowers, maybe gardening, starting our gardens for the season. So you might see behind me, I have a very beautiful French piece of Victorian flower art. So when we look back kind of to history and people in the Victorian kind of era, we see an inspiration with botany, with growing plants, beauty in general, a lot of inspiration from the Orient. So something that I thought I could share with you guys is really awesome. I'll bring it a bit closer.
Oh my, that is stunning.
Out of flowers.
Wow, that's really quite amazing. So are those silk flowers or preserved fabric of some sort?
So it's meant to mimic flowers. It's not real flowers. I'll try bringing it a little bit closer so you can see it.
Yeah, that's good.
Feathers and various kind of delicate imitation kind of materials that would create the flower shape. So it's not necessarily preserved flowers, but again, kind of drawing back to that inspiration of the outdoors and nature in general.
Definitely, yeah. That's really quite stunning.
Something that I can share with you guys, as well as back in that period, we look at a lot of embroidery and stuff. And again, like Victorian folk with lots of flowers or old kind of fabrics embroidered with lots of natural elements. That kind of harkens back to that inspiration of botany and things. That's guys.
Sorry? Oh, you kind of cut out there.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
One of the things I thought I could share with you guys.
Yes, and a lovely piece, that's for sure. Yeah. And it makes you wonder too just how many hours someone would have to put in to create a piece that is, 3D almost, with feathers and bits of silk and organza and different kinds of materials, and it kind of makes you wonder, right? Like just how much free time folks had in those days, and that they were able to actually devote so much time to creation, which is wonderful, right?
Yeah, and as well when we look back into that period, obviously there's a little bit of gender roles or gender diversity, so a lot of these things would be created mostly by women. I'm sure there were specialized. I mean, when we look at weavers and weaving studios, the main kind of workers tended to be women, but the owners or the master weavers would have been men. So
right. Yeah.
And it's mostly feminine or female kind of craft where we unfortunately see them kind of stuck at home doing a lot of these types of things, really making the home beautiful, trying to bring that nature inside.
Right. Yeah, very structured setting in terms of how households were run, and which we've all come to sort of understand from that era, right? Things today are a little bit more fluid, a little bit more kind of all over the place sometimes, but still people are encouraged to find fulfillment in whatever way that they can, right? Today, and especially now that we're sort of dealing with an interesting time where we are faced with a lot of indoor time and needing to be able to kind of figure out, you know, what does this all mean? I mean, you're trying to keep each other safe by staying home and making sure we're not, you know, spreading any sort of illness, that sort of thing. So it's an interesting sort of sociological experiment that's going on right now about folks, you know, willing to stay indoors, stay safe, keep their family safe, keep their friends safe and their neighbors, so that down the road we can all get together again. So in the meantime, yes, we need to figure out things that we can do to help ourselves feel that the time is being used in a productive kind of way, right? And that sort of thing. So hence doing the creative work that we're going to do today. So lovely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And what a lucky guy you are to be at the museum, to have all this stuff to sort of work with and play with and get to understand, you know, history before this day and time frame, right? So I mean, that's got to be the dream job for a history person like yourself. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, in my current role, I started January 1st this year, so interesting year starting.
And what a year! Yes, we're only in the end of the fourth month. Yeah, exciting.
I have traveled here and there in history. I've worked at Black Creek Pioneer Village, Scarborough, History Museum down in Toronto when I was there for school, so lots of kind of hands-on crafts stuff about working back then and really just kind of understanding how things were different. But again, when we look at how it was kind of affecting us, it's a city juxtaposition because it almost kind of harkens back to that Victorian era where we see, again, unfortunately, women mostly staying at home. I'm sure feeling a lot of what we're feeling right now.
Yeah.
The seclusion in general for people who would settle in remote areas. The neighbor, stone's throw away. It was at least 5 or 6 miles down the road, right?
Right. Yeah. And also too, just in the lack, like right now we live in a very sort of convenience-oriented society, right? Like we go to the grocery store and everything is there for the most part, right? But when we're talking about earlier times, right, there's a lot of baking, a lot of making, a lot of sewing, a lot of doing, a lot of things that we currently probably don't really think about as much, right? So we fill it up with other things, but in the old days, there was a real understanding of all these different things that we all had to be proficient at, I think. Too, we had a lot of people. You had to know how to sew, you had to know how to bake. You know, you had to know how to do all kinds of things in order to be able to, provide a healthy, happy home for oneself, one's family. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So,
thinking back to like how families would maybe interact, like when we look back at kind of the Victorian era again, it's maybe my favorite area. This is the one studied maybe the most and been exposed to the most.
That's okay, yeah.
When family life has been a living room setting back then, I mean, obviously we don't have TV, we don't have radio, we don't have the amenities we have today. So again, it was a lot of sharing of stories. Everyone would be able to kind of play in or join in playing an instrument, kind of entertain, or you would look at just spending time, quality time together with your family or your neighbors.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, a very different time and place, for sure. Yeah, definitely. As we've been talking, I just sort of started working on a sheet of watercolor paper with tea. So I made myself a tea and I kept the bag, and then I grabbed another tea bag. So I've been just sort of staining my paper with tea and just kind of thinking on, nature. And the thing too about the piece that you showed us is just how there aren't really colors, right? It's white. There's like lots of tints, not even tints, but just lots of different shades of whiteness and lightness, and there's some green happening in there. And I don't know if it's faded at all over time. I mean, who knows, maybe the background might have faded a bit or something, but it actually kind of looks like it's a stained tea background even. But who knows, like who knows how the fabric might have been dyed or anything like that. So, so interesting too, right? A monochromatic kind of approach to the delicate aspect of nature. So that's a really lovely, just a lovely take on it, right? I mean, there's some folks who just love completely white gardens. And then there are those who love pops of color everywhere. So these are all everyone's preference. Everyone's got their own preference, right? So yeah. So I just thought I'd start kind of playing around with a little bit of tea and a little bit of watercolor. And yeah, any thoughts on your end as to what kind of art activity you'd like us to kind of, any kind of materials you'd like us to take a look at, or anything you'd like us to work with, or any thoughts? Anything.
Thematically, I mean, it would be appropriate for us to look at spring. I mean, we are looking at flowers again, but like I said, they're made out of mostly feathers. So we see things like birds coming back, so maybe we're a bit by that, or the things we're growing in the garden. I mean, another favorite things that we is actually some maize, which is an indigenous type corn that we're
Let's see.
back.
Yeah.
But just the color profile of it, I mean.
Oh, see, that's... what a contrast. That's a lovely contrast. Yeah, deep reds, blues, purples, yellows. Yeah, that is lovely. And so that would be corn that would be grown in that way, right? Like it's a type of corn that grows like that. It's not, I don't know, Shelley. I don't know how to. Sorry, we have a question about how to get rid of the comments that are showing. I don't know how to do that. Sorry, unless you scroll, maybe. No, that's not going to do it.
I'm not sure either. If
I'm not
it's
sure.
just a question covering an artifact, you can always reach out to us. You can check out our website. You can send us a Facebook message if that's kind of what you're looking for, but I don't know for sure either.
Oh, I think, she's joined late, so she might want to actually see the artifact a bit better, is what I'm kind of thinking. Is this what we're thinking? Hi, Yvonne. Nice to see you on Facebook. There you go. Does that work, Shell? Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you can see the flowers and all the very fine featherwork, I guess, or, yeah. So what he's showing is a three-dimensional, like a diorama of plants, of different flower types, right? Yeah, definitely 3D. Yeah, in a shadow box. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So yeah, it makes you wonder too, like the household that would be in. Would it be a higher income kind of household, or would it be something that just kind of makes you wonder the socioeconomic background of a family that would have something that it looks like something that was quite precious, right? Something that took a lot of time, a lot of effort, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think most, again, going back to the history and the kind of roles of gender, I think most women would be, again, working on things like this, but something of this kind of quality. I mean, it's made of feathers or trim, so I think it's more of a higher kind of end household item, but we would probably see imitations or more pieces, again, made by people who maybe necessarily couldn't have done something quite like this, but still that quality and beauty.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking too. Yeah, definitely a sort of a higher income bracket type of thing, right? Yeah.
Especially for useful, elaborate, and in shadow box with like a silk or organza backing on it. So
yeah, that's right too. So yeah, it makes you wonder. Interesting, these glimpses into the past, right? Like I wonder when someone looks back at 2020, what will be an artifact remaining from our time frame that someone like a historian like yourself might look at in 2040 and go, what were they up to at that point?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big challenge with museums right now too, is trying to collect the current history, right? Like we're so involved with the past and not trying to preserve that and bring that to people. But it's also important for us to really consider the current history and what's happening today. So things we are collecting are like the old flip cell phone or a really old MP3 player or DVDs or CDs or VHS tapes. I mean, just so we have that in the archive. And something we're also looking at, hopefully to launch soon, maybe a little bit later than we would have hoped. But again, it's a little tough with staff not being in the building, but it's how to collect this history that's currently happening right now with COVID, and how do we record that and keep it, again, for 40, 10, 15 years when we look back and say, whoa, what happened? Just like we did to the Spanish flu or anything.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it'll be quite a momentous thing, right? Hopefully we learn a lot from this time period, and that we're able to create a new future that is healthier and more community focused, and a lot less about individual and corporate greed. That would be nice. But, but I have to say, we do live in miraculous times, right? Like, I just kind of think about all the medical professionals who are out there, and just all the amazing advancements that they're making right now to help humanity. And it's really humbling, and I personally am filled with gratitude every day that I live here and now at this point. So, yeah. And in the meantime, just trying to sort of, I know a lot of folks feel, and maybe that's waning now, but maybe a lot of folks are feeling a fair bit of anxiety at how things have changed, and at how life is a little not like it used to be, and people are worried about bills and that sort of thing. So, and you know what? This is interesting, because Shelley has just said to us, funny that the COVID window of history is the reinvigoration of historic skills, making bread, crocheting, gardens, a look to the past. And she's right on, right? Because we've had to make do on a lot of different levels, and now that folks are, and that actually a cousin of mine too, she put it really nicely. She said, families are quieter. I mean, if you're lucky enough to be in a fairly stable home, right? The kids aren't going to hockey, they aren't going to dance, they're not like running around. Everyone needs to be home together. So there's a lot of getting to know each other again, which has its plus and minuses, but hopefully more pluses than minuses. And yes, and a new skill set being born, I would think, in terms of just in terms of contemporary knowledge too, right? Folks who've never been on the internet before suddenly figure it out, kind of thing. So we're doing a live broadcast, which is even crazier, right there, right? The two of us. This is so bizarre. So yeah, it's a good thing.
Just think again how it just reflects back, like Shelley mentioned, to that kind of past. I mean, I've been trying to read articles and do whatever I can to stay up with things, but you see, instead of a lot of traditional learning skills, we see people going back to learning life skills, so maybe learning how to cook, how to sew, how to garden, how to interact, those kind of things, which was just a regular part of life back then. I mean, everybody did it. It was something you had to do. I mean, you had a hole in your sock that you can go to Walmart and find.
No. Well, usually you had your mom or your wife darn it for you. There was that. Yeah. But at the same time, though, you did have individuals who owned mills, who were haberdashers, who knew how to make hats and suits and coats, and so it was a very different kind of way. Here's another question. The phone call is making a comeback too. I wonder if people will want landlines again. So this is an interesting thought. Like, how many people got rid of their landlines in order to have cell phones? And then what happens the day that, the towers stop, emitting, or, satellites crash or whatever, right? Like, how do we, a phone call is a pretty basic kind of thing, right? You have to stop texting and actually talk to somebody. It's kind of a novel item in this day and age. So.
Considering back then would have been a luxury. I mean,
yeah.
The letter, hope to hear maybe half a year later, or we could get homing pigeon or a passenger pigeon. We could bring those back.
Oh my goodness! Well, maybe we could. Maybe, Lord knows we have lots of pigeons in Sault Ste. Marie. So Yeah, that could be interesting. But no, it's true, right? What is going to make a comeback, and what will be changed because of this time frame? So I'm just.
It'll be interesting to see.
Yes, it will be.
What might will make this comeback?
Sorry, what will? What?
Home economics. I wonder if that'll make it come back.
A very useful subject. That would be nice to have that in schools again, because everyone's got to know how to feed themselves, how to go to the bank, how to take care of, just basics in the household. I mean, yeah. And typing. Typing was something I had to do, and I know a lot of my contemporaries did, and it's, even with the change in technology, it's become very, very, a very pragmatic skill to have, right? Yeah. Sort of like hooked on phonics. I think that needs to make a comeback as well. I don't know if you know what that is, but that's how we learned how to deal with with sounding out words. So,
I didn't do. I remember back in grade 2, they used to cover our hands.
Really?
And this learning game called, I think it was All the Right Type. And we would have to learn how to type without looking at our fingers.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yep.
not that old. I'm not that young.
Yeah, I got a high school credit for typing. Come on. It was a class.
I wish it was a typewriter, though. There's nothing more satisfying than that ding.
Oh, yeah, the ding is great. I love the ding. Yep. And the correction tape that you could go back and redo. And I think through most of my university career, I had a typewriter, and I would just type away as soon as I made a mistake. I seem to remember not having enough liquid, whatever that was, that whiteout stuff. So I'd rip the page out and start all over again. So a little OCD on my part, but what the heck? You got to do what you got to do, right? So,
that's great.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw one of our posts that we did share from the archive, one of the typewriters.
Ah.
Yeah. That,
I don't know if I saw it yet. Maybe I missed it. I'm sorry. I like
no,
typewriters.
it's a really old Odell typewriter, but it's in
Oh.
a single.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like this weird looking thing, right? It's like it kind of spirals out and hits a letter or something like that. Like it's.
Yeah, I think you would have to set up your type very similar to like how a printer would set it up in the bar, and then
Okay.
you would have to print it and then reset it, print it, and reset it, and print it. Maybe, you probably would have had them all set up.
Okay.
I'm not
Yeah.
really sure, but yeah, all in one line at a time.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that would have taken quite a while. Not so much fun if you're the guy who had to run the machine. Got it. Yeah. Sorry? It would.
Or write a dissertation.
No, writing a dissertation? No. Yeah. I must admit I caved when it came time to do my thesis and got myself one of the, what are they called? The little Apple cubes. Like the little tiny portable that had a screen that was maybe 6 inches by 3 kind of thing. And you could see like 5 lines at a time. Oh my God. That was the height of technology. So yeah, I'm old. I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm old. But a life full of wonderful, wealthy experiences, right? A wealth of experiences. For folks on Facebook, I'm just going to show you real quick. I'm just sort of doodling away with markers, and we're at 29 minutes, and for some reason, I'm just doodling away with markers over top of a T background. And for folks here, so this is Will and I are talking. I'm just kind of doodling along, making vines right now, and kind of taking some influence from the piece behind him, which has all that lovely kind of fine line that's happening. And yeah, at home you're welcome to work on whatever it is that you'd like to work on. Join us in exploring nature and kind of wishing that I know April showers bring May flowers, but at the same time, a little bit more sun would be nice. But yes, please, whatever work you're working on, please send us a picture to the Art Speaks Project at gmail.com, and I'll be sure to upload your images and put them on our Instagram and Facebook feeds. And sorry for the jumpy kind of Facebook feed. I'm not really sure what's going on. But internet, as you know, is a little sketchy some days. So we're just trying our best here. And again, on Instagram, thanks to everyone who's out there. Whoop, we have a number of people who've been waving at us, which is kind of neat. Yes, and we're waving back. Yes. And for those who've just joined, we have Will Hollingshead, who is the director and chief curator, right, at the Sault Ste. Marie Museum. Interesting fact, the Sault Ste. Marie Museum is, okay, how does this work again? It's the 49th Field Regiment? Are they the ones that hold the collection? Is that how it works? How's this work? Tell us.
It's a really long name, but it's cool. We are the Sault Ste. Marie and 49th Field Regiment, RCA Historical Society, who owns and operates the Sault Ste. Marie Museum.
Nice. Very good.
So, with the Legion and the building over on Pine Street and their kind of armory building, that's where it would have originated.
Oh, the armory over on Pine. Okay. So they would have had like a small holdings area in the armories kind of thing, and then moved it into the museum kind of thing?
Well, they did form a historical society which focused on the collection kind of the main component of what we have. I mean, we've grown since the start, but they were looking for an alternative site basically to operate a museum out of, which is what for the Sault Ste. Marie Museum. But the armory itself does still have a museum and library. But it's mostly reserved for the reservists or the people serving in the regiment. So
oh, wow. Okay.
For them, but we do tie in with them and share information and work very closely in any way we possibly can.
Well, that's really wonderful. That's very, very cool. Neat. And do they, so they would have some input as to what happens at the museum? Is that kind of sort of how it goes? Kind of sort of?
Yeah, so we're basically managed by a board of directors, which is a volunteer board of directors.
Nice.
Even though I am the executive director.
Yeah.
So this board of directors above me basically consists of people that would apply as well as appointed officials from the regiment. So they have a seat within our board to kind of oversee operations.
That's great. Good.
Yeah.
And how long has the museum been around, I guess? Because I know every time I mention, the archives are at the museum, people go, we have a museum? Yes, we have a museum. And it's not the art gallery. It's a museum. Different. It's a different beast. So how long have you been where you've been? Not you physically, but...
We also use with some of our other good old friends in Sault Ste. Marie, which is fine. We have some really awesome museums here, so that's never a problem.
Yeah.
We, as a building, were built in 1902, finished in 1906.
Wow, okay.
Originally operated as a post office, as customs. There was various kind of when you walk on the outside, you can see some of the logos on the exterior of the building.
Okay.
Museum itself, in 1982, we formed an agreement to take the space and operate it as a museum, which happened eventually in 1983 when we opened to the public.
Nice. Okay. So that's a good long time. So that's lovely.
Just my brain there a little bit.
It's okay. Everyone's got a little bit of corona fog happening. I wouldn't worry about it. Yeah. This is part of 2020, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. I've got a green bird now. It's kind of sort of there. There he is. A little bit of a bird. Feathery bird.
For reminds me as well of a lot of the wallpaper. Again, when we're looking back at Victorian times,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we have flower boxes and floral arrangements, and the language of flowers starts to develop, but we get a lot of wallpaper and embroidery, things like that, focusing on, again, nature and beauty. So.
And I wonder too, in that time frame, right, nature became such a focus, because when was it? The Industrial Revolution happened not long before? Is that not it? Or was it right after? Right, all the mills started.
Kind of same era, so we're
Yeah, to balance.
Revolution, like 60s, 1860s to 1890s, when it kind of hits Canada, really.
The Industrial Revolution? Yeah. 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 And so then, so you have all this sort of man-made tech versus nature, right? Sort of trying to find a balance between the two. Which is kind of sort of what's happening these days too, right? Where tech is kind of, not even tech, but industry has sort of maybe taken off a little too much. And now nature has, you know, thanks to a virus, made us all kind of stop and sort of take stock, right, of what's going on. So interesting in that regard, right? So are we the new Victorian age? Makes you wonder. I don't know.
That's kind of interesting. It almost feels like it, right? If you went inside, yes, well, when it was sunny, and planted my whole vegetable garden, and I got all my herbs going. And
Oh,
like,
yeah. Yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
Victorian. And I mean, I used to do the whole costume dressing or whatever, but
Wonderful.
yeah, just kind of bring it back to that feeling of playing pioneer, being a pioneer, really. Just
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
doing my
Yeah. And we have a question from Shelley. She's talking to you about the language of flowers. Is that just something that you expressed interest in, or is it an actual book? What made you say that? She loves the expression. So.
It is a book.
The language of flowers. Okay.
But there's also kind of around the Victorian time era in Victorian England and in the United States, 19th century, we look at, I don't know how to make this sound either. It's a cryptological type of communication, so communicating using code, basically.
Okay.
So, the use or arrangement of flowers would basically form some type of codification as to how you would arrange them and then send them to somebody else, or how you would display them in your house when guests are kind of coming over.
Okay.
It's a really, really interesting thing to look into. I haven't delved into it very much, but it's been kind of a recent thing I've looked into. But yeah, really check it out. There's a book with illustrated poetry from 1834.
Neat.
There's something about the, I'm looking this up.
Oh, you're kidding.
That's hard.
I like the fact you look things up and you don't just, make it up as you go along. That's
Like, I did a bit of research, but I want to give you some really good references to it.
lovely.
There's a book called The Language of Flowers from 1834.
Okay.
There's also The Sentiment of Flowers, or Language of Flora, from 1836. And another one called The Language of Flowers from 1884, which is still being reprinted to this
Okay.
day. So you can look into it. It's really interesting. I mean, flowers to kind of communicate various codes or things like that. I mean, we also look back, Victorian women would also do various fan waves or covering of certain parts of their faces with their fans to also codify meanings to other
Oh,
people.
okay. Yeah. That makes sense, right? I mean, as humans, like, we do tend to we tend to look for symbol and metaphor in so much of what we do in our mark making and in our in our interactions with others. So it stands to reason, right? Especially in the Victorian area, because I sort of imagine Victorians were a little on the uptight kind of side, kind of thing, perhaps. And so there was probably a lot of intrigue around relationships and connecting with another individual and just, how to do things in such a way that you're not overtly coming on to someone or, stating your preference or whatever, right? So, I think that's kind of fun. if you understand the language, yeah, it could be really a lot of fun. So,
right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or we see things like spiritualism really starts to come in there, so like the paranormal is the other side.
Right,
there's
right.
Rituals about, I know this man's fallen in love with me, so I'll go in the field in the middle of the night and throw wheat seeds over my shoulder or
Gotcha.
something.
Right, so there's that kind of, almost like a romantic kind of voodooistic kind of way of, dealing with other people. Yeah. So, yeah, I can see that. Interesting, right? All in all. Is that when Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein? That's what I'm trying to remember now. When did she write that? Is that the 1800s? Nope, 18? It must have been the 18s. Somewhere around that. Oh, wow.
She was late 1700s till mid 1800s, and Frankenstein. I'm going to look this up again.
Thank you. This is what I like. A historian who looks things up. This is good.
Only because I just listened to this really fantastic podcast on her, and now I'm having corona brain.
I think they refer to that as stress. I think that's what's going on. I think a lot of us have corona brain, and we need to just take our time, be nice to ourselves, and try not to do anything that is too important these days. You just need to chill, indeed.
Frankenstein was published in 1818 when she was only 20.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Oof.
From what I remember, it was as part of this kind of gathering between a whole bunch of famous kind of who was recognized now. I think Lord Byron was there.
Yeah. Percy Shelley. Yeah, Percy Shelley, Mary Shelley. But was she Mary Shelley at that point? That's what I'm trying to remember too. If they were actually together at that point, or she had another name. But she published it under her name, under her married name. So.
Originally, it was anonymously published.
Ah, so later on it was attributed. Okay. Interesting. When I was in art school in the early 80s, we had the opportunity to go to Florence, Italy as part of the Ontario College of Arts program. And we ended up, myself and I think like 4 other people, we ended up staying at this villa on the outskirts of Florence. And there was this portrait in the library, and the owners kept saying to us, that's Lord Byron's lover. This is the lady that he had some tryst with, and she was like staring at us. And she was a sour-looking lady. I think she was not happy with Lord Byron. And so, so that was interesting. Living in the shadow of Lord Byron's mistress. So.
Yeah. He was also quite a character. Absolutely.
Yes. Oh, yeah, for sure. It sounds like. Oof. Interesting.
Infamize him, or I don't know if that's the word.
Say that again?
Infamize?
Infamous?
Oh.
Infamous.
Yeah.
Infamous. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
We don't think him really infamous, but he was an interesting man, and maybe necessarily the most kind of what we believe him to be, I guess. Unless you really back at kind of his history.
Yeah. Yep.
But to your question, Mary Shelley would have been married for 4 years before she wrote that book.
And she wrote it when she was 20.
Yeah, so she was married at
16. Wow. Man, I guess. Well, I guess life expectancy was shorter back then.
Yeah.
Was it not? Yeah. Interesting times. Oh.
I think by the time you were like mid-20s, if you weren't married, you were a widow and old maid.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I didn't get married till I was well into my 30s, so I know about the old maid business. Yeah.
Hey, old maids all the way.
Yeah, old maids all the way, yeah. Oh, you do what you can. You do the best that you can. So here we go. Still kind of working on this vine-like kind of thing. Here we are. Just kind of listening and doing and doing. Whoa! Here we go. Dropping things. Hope we're not shocking people on the other side. Yeah. Well, this is kind of fun. Are you having a good time, Will?
I am.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Is it weird being in the museum by yourself?
A little bit sometimes.
Yeah?
I've gotten used to it after a couple months, but it's a little strange. It's so big.
Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. Was it ever a hotel?
No.
No? Hey, Sherry. No way? Okay.
No, so like I said, it was the post office, it was customs.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Okay.
Employment office, but on the third floor there was the caretaker and the bell. Oh my god, I'm not going to think of his name right now. The bell ringer.
Oh!
Remoto.
So the museum had a bell ringer so the tower where the clock is used to have like a big. Is the bell gone or is it still there?
The bell is no longer in the tower. It's been removed.
Wow.
It was on our roof for a little while. Right now, it's been taken off there. We've had our roof redone, so the city is currently holding it for care for us. We're hoping to bring it back sometime soon to share it with everyone, but we did have a bell, and there would be someone that would have to go up and wind the clock and make sure that ring and stuff. So there was a couple apartments, there was a living room area, kitchen, there was bathrooms, all on the third floor.
And the third floor has since been converted now, right? To you have exhibition space up there, and storage space and stuff. Wow, that's pretty neat. So the bell ringer would live in the building, obviously, to ring the bell whenever.
There was 2 or 3 apartments up there.
Interesting. Huh.
Kenworth.
That's neat. Oh, jeez. Interesting times. Huh.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool. So like I live downtown, not far from the museum, and our building that I'm sitting in was built in 1901. So it's kind of wonderful, this whole heritage block, 2 blocks really, I guess, that we have, right? Like we have a very nice historic downtown, which is lovely, right? Yeah, I think it's just good for folks to know more about the history of places, right? And I always find it distressing when old buildings are ripped down for, supposedly because of progress, but and yes, sometimes buildings just have not been upkept, and so therefore they need to be gotten rid of just for safety. But I really do like the look of an old building, that's for sure. Yeah, there's something really lovely about it, right? The high ceilings for one, and in our place, there isn't a single straight line, which is kind of wonky, but what are you gonna do? Like we have door jambs that go in different directions, and we have cats, so if you throw a ball up down the hall, the ball kind of does this meandering kind of tour up the hall and back down in a loop-de-loop to where you were because of the slant in the floor. And yeah, it's fun. Makes it hard to renovate, but it's fun.
Always some character, right?
Oh, it's character. That's what they call it. Yeah. And I like that the museum has lots of character. Like that whole staircase you guys have is just so gorgeous and pretty stunning. And the rooms too, and the vaulted ceiling. Like it's just really a lovely place. So hopefully when all this is over, more people will be coming out and having a chance to, and that'll be interesting too, right? How do we progress? Let's say we're back doing our thing at the museum come the summer. How do we do we maintain the social distancing? How do we maintain safety, parameters? And it's going to be interesting, the whole adaptation part of just dealing with the new normal kind of thing, right? So,
especially in a setting like this, we're not necessarily an emergency service or something that's really vital to the community, so that's absolutely understood, but again, and how do we go back to that type of normal, and how do we welcome in and still share that type of history with our community, right? So I mean, we turn to social media to kind of fill some gaps, but it's still not the same as having people open the doors and really experience what we have to offer. I mean,
for sure.
Show our performance, but it's really the history of where you are, where you came from. I mean, maybe you don't, maybe there's an artifact that really kind of resonates with you, or now that we're all stuck at home and we're reflecting on things, it's kind of a time to really think to the future of when people can come back and bring more stories, or maybe we think other addicts or garages or come across we can really share with.
No, it's true. It's true. It's going to be quite a thing. Yvonne has just said, it's so interesting to hear that the museum history, it really adds a kind of, romance. Thank you. It's really nice listening about these history tidbits. Well, that's good. Good, I'm glad. This is a very positive thing, I think. Especially since we're living in every day is a historic time, but the pandemic of 2020 certainly feels like it might be a little bit more cutting edge historic. So, it will be interesting to see how cultural institutions will deal with the aftermath. And I think, yes, it may, like doing the archive at the museum, I think is a really positive and necessary thing, because I think folks are going to need an outlet to deal, with all the anxiety and all the uncertainty and that sort of thing, which is why, on the day that you had to lock up the museum, we did our first cyber hive together, and did the best that we could with what we had, and every time we do this, we learn a bit more and we figure a few more things, as to how to progress into the future. So I think these are all really valuable kind of skills that we're developing, and we just need to learn new tricks, as they say, and just try to offer what we can to just help folks have a better life, and just a more a more comfortable existence with others, right? BBC Today would let you have a weekly piece that you show an artifact and tell a bit about it, tell people where that bell went, and that there was a person who was hired to ring the bell. Shelley that's for you, Bill. So there you go.
Looking into, absolutely.
It is, yeah. That would be worth it.
I mean, I know we've been closed, and we did post a really exciting update where we received a very significant donation from our police force here in St. Marines as well.
That's awesome.
I mean, we are closed, but we're hoping to kind of bring what we have again to you guys in the best way, but also hoping to engage the community in various methods of contributing. Yeah. So while we're all sitting at home, if we're making art or we're writing journals or we're taking photos or videos or creating things, I think it's really valuable for us to consider keeping these and potentially sharing with us after, so that we can really report this and have some type of an archive or holding of how this affected everybody, and not only again looking to the past 50 years, but trying to look a little bit forward into the future, and maybe in 10 years we'll have a story about how Will and Maria did an archive, but COVID hit, who knows, right? So,
well, yeah. I mean, all great things start somewhere, right? So I think, March 18th was our day to shine, and I think we continue, once a month or every couple of months, right? We partner up and we do our thing, and but I think it's important, right, for folks to know that we're all in this together and we're all part of something together, and as I don't know, I just really feel for everyone, just because it is such a tenuous time, and we're all kind of dealing with Corona brain, and a lot of us are stressed out to the max, and not everyone has a quiet stable home life, and there are difficulties that abound in our tiny little city that's not that tiny, and so you just kind of hope the best for everyone, and hope that we are able to support each other in some way, and that's part of the reason why I think too we even do the Art Hut, right? Is that and that the museum has been such a good partner too, because I think you see the value in offering a place for people to gather that is safe and that is very welcoming, and the very fact that it's full of history, full of stories, right? And every time we come in, we're contributing to the story of the building again, and contributing to our own stories. So it's a win-win, I think, for all of us. So yeah, good stuff, right? Yeah. Oh, you gotta have fun in life, man. Otherwise, it's too short.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
But also, like you were saying, I think being stuck at home, and I know it is stressful and it is anxiety bringing, and it brings up these types of things. But again, if we look back, I mean, people did this before, people used to live like this all the time.
Yep.
We'll make it through, we'll be able to come back and progress even further than we were able to before, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think life has gotten. I remember. Before coming back to the Sioux, I lived in Toronto and Montreal, and I just always thought, oh my God, it's so busy. I'm always so freaking busy, right? And then I come back to the Sioux, and I'm just like, this is ridiculous. I'm like busier here than I ever was anywhere else, right? And so I just think the one upside to this whole issue is the fact that folks are kind of forced to have to regroup, right? And kind of just sort of take a look at what do you do in a day, and what is it that needs accomplishing and what doesn't need accomplishing. And yes, there are jobs that need to be done, and we're not saying that those aren't important, because those are very important. But all this downtime that we would maybe fill with texting and gaming and all this kind of stuff. I mean, is that still the most important thing to be doing, or what could we do? And like Shelley had said before, this whole return to baking bread and learning how to crochet and making things, and people, like the very fact that there are all these countless volunteers out there making masks for folks to wear in the community, right? And this isn't because of so much downtime so much as a desire to help others in the community, right? And so we're all kind of helping each other in different kinds of ways, and our doing the hive is our way of helping, and so everyone's got their thing, right? So it's nice to see people being really positive and being really helpful in a lot of ways. And like you were saying, like watching your posts on social media have been very informative. Just really, really neat, like to see these pictures of pockets into history that I think we kind of forget when we get too busy. I think that's part of the thing that happens. Oh, I think you're gone. Oh my God, I think we lost Will. Sorry, folks. Hi, Lou. And we now have a cat. Oh, okay, so here we go again. That is too funny. Oh. So, I don't know if Will is still out there. Hi folks on Facebook, Maria here. We've just been talking with Will Hollingshead at the museum, and we lost him. And I think I think you're back. I think we're going live. Okay, thank you everyone for sticking it out with us. We are technological savants. And I think Will is, yes! Woo! Okay, Will is back. Thank you. So Will, I'm going to need you to do some talking, because I have a cat that wants me to do some feeding. So I will put this here, and maybe there's something you could talk about over there. Show us something else.
Yeah.
Here, I will show them this. Okay, you start talking. Sorry. Lou calls, I have to respond when Lou calls. So, okay. Come on, Lulu.
Thank you everyone for tuning back in. Sorry for the little bit of technical difficulties we experienced. I'm Mahak from the Susanne Museum, Executive Director and Chief Curator. I'm with Maria from Art Speaks, the Art Speaks Project. Make sure you check them out on Instagram and follow in. They do a lot of these fantastic archives and are one of our great community partners. If you are just running in, we were talking a little bit about the history of the museum and a little bit about our theme for today. You don't have to follow it along. If you have stuff that you want to work on separately, that's absolutely okay. We were mostly looking at this piece here behind me, which is a kind of 3D shadow box of floral art. We might think that these are actually preserved flowers, but they're mostly made out of pieces of organza, felt, and feathers. We were talking about the Victorian era and their kind of interest in obsession with beauty and the nature and the outdoors, as well as with the Orient. So we see lots of different types of Oriental kind of patterns and fabrics and inspired things showing up over in that period, which would expand to the rest of the world. But if you're seeing Ray's art piece up there from us, it looks like some sort of Victorian wallpaper. So again, that influence of art and beauty and nature to bring in interiors from the exterior. Something else that we see a lot of is paper craft, paper art. So you might also see origami starting to show up, or things where these flower boxes, but instead of feathers, they might be paper. You might see paper decorations being used on Christmas trees. So, really get good inspiration from nature. Other things that I was sharing earlier on, credit my reach, is when we look, again at springtime, we might think of gardening or working outdoors with some of the stuff we have in nature. Something we may have here is would have been a traditional growing type of corn planted by indigenous people in the area. It's not necessarily a corn that would be used to it. It's not really a corn you would eat like from the crop. It's mostly ground up to make flour and turned into various kinds of baking, cornbread, cornmeal, things like that. But the colors of them are really kind of exciting. So we would have this, we've been harvested from the previous season, dried out and ready to plant in the springtime. So yeah, just kind of taking inspiration again from colors we're putting outside, or birds, or flowers, or springtime, things like that. Yeah.
Nice job. You done good there, mister. It's all good. It's all good. So yeah, still working. Yeah. Oh, I don't know why the Facebook is glitching, but oh well. We're at over an hour. We're doing pretty good. Not bad, right? My, but how time flies when you're having fun. So do you have any other stories you'd like to tell us? Any?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know, he says. Okay. Just wondering. Are you in the, where are you situated? Are you in the Discovery Gallery, or are you?
Yeah, right now I'm in our Discovery Gallery, so it's our kids' space.
Okay, cool.
Figured it's the brightest and most interesting. I was going to set up in front of our kind of natural history collection of birds, but the glare is really bad. I'll try to take us over so you can see a little more naturally.
Our taxidermied creations. Oh, look at that, all the neat stuff back there. Oh yes, okay, I gotcha. Yeah, a little bit of. Ooh, is that a raven? Crow. I don't know. Got some interesting birds in there. Oh yeah, the glare is a bit. Yeah. Is that a kingfisher or something like that?
There's kingfisher. There's some blue jays, some owls, a heron.
Well, I bet you the owls we could, yeah. Ah, yeah. Is that I imagine a snowy owl?
Yeah.
Neat.
Oh, that's my face. That's an owl.
That's your face, yeah. But no, but then there's an owl over there too. But so these creatures would have been donated, perhaps years ago, maybe, or do we know?
Yeah, likely. So most museums were looking at back in our most recent history would be collecting, as we do a lot of community history and things going around here. So these are usually specimens from that you would find around here from the Algoma district or from Sault Ste. Marie. So
okay.
they're quite old, but they've been preserved and done in the right way, which was again another really popular pastime back then. Maybe a little bit more of it.
Oh, really?
We'd
Okay.
see a lot of taxidermy, right? Especially in the upper households with the richer people, and you would have like your stuffed birds and your stuffed deers and your stuffed cheetahs and stuff.
Yeah. So I guess those would be displays of wealth too, right? Like to be able to go off and do safaris and things like that which I'm sure still happens to this day, but yeah, it would be very much a cultural kind of situation. Yeah. Interesting. Well, that is interesting. And do you have any? I was going to ask you, but do you have any new display areas in the museum, or any new? Do you have a show? Oh, I guess we really can't come see any shows because they're locked up. But what was the last show they? Oh, tell us about the Suite who was most interesting to you. Thank you, Shelley Lee. You are a wealth of information. Thank you. So, do you have information on a Suite that was interesting to you?
That's a tough one.
Oh, okay.
We've had a lot of really interesting people from the past, actually.
Oh.
That came from Sault Ste. Marie, that came to Sault Ste. Marie, made an influence.
Oh, okay.
That made me think, so, I guess the one I'm going to say is what I know the most about. I mean, I used to work at the Old Stone House.
Oh, the Old Stone House.
So I'm going to go with Claire. I think Claire was probably one of the most interesting people.
Okay.
He had a lot of really great ideas. He brought Sault Ste. Marie onto the map, basically, by starting the industrialization of this do with the railroad, the Vermel, but he was an interesting man in terms of his management and his kind of personal life. I mean, if you go into the blockhouse over at the Hermitage Park site, when it, again, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully opens, yeah.
See, there's a staircase that would go up into the attic, so he would have an office there and he would close the staircase to kind of hide what he was working on. I mean, he is still being a little paranoid, I think, is but
so he was an inventor of sorts. Is that one way, or a planner, like more of like an urban planner type of industrial planner kind of guy? Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, after he left, he went back to Montreal. He wasn't very successful, but before he was in Bangor, Maine, he did stuff. Basically all over the world, he did different kinds of projects. So.
Interesting. Bangor, Maine, eh? That's interesting. The home is that not the home of Stephen King? Yes. I think it is. I think I've been to Bangor, Maine. I think so. Interesting that's okay. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, we've also had great people like James Dunn. We've had some not so great people, maybe like,
make sure they're dead when you say that.
the first judge.
Oh, Prince. Yeah, Prince was not the guy who's buried out in Bellevue Park. Yes. Yeah, not a happy dude. Yeah.
Sorry, I said Bangor, Maine. I meant Brewer, Maine.
Okay, thank you. Still, Maine is still, that's interesting. This is what happens when you play them to go to sleep, and then it just ends up in your brain, and you're not really sure what is what.
Oh, and I got some really good history ones. I've been binging, and now I don't know the difference between Robert the Bruce and Robert the Great. And
there you go. Yep, I hear you. Interesting times. But so yeah, that's right. You only started in January, right?
Yeah, in this position. I was previously in the position of outreach and programming. So I did do some stuff here for a little bit before, but
but really, you've only been at the museum. Oh, what did the judge do that made him not so special? Oh, are you up for it?
I don't know.
He's buried in the park.
He was a politician.
He was, yeah.
He wasn't very accepting of lots of different types of people. We could also say that.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't like being here at all.
Yeah. That's
and died here alone. And sad.
I guess he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Where did he come?
Kids to follow, but they refused to come.
Oh, his kids.
His wife.
Oh, yeah. And where did he come from? Did he come from? Was he Canadian or American?
He was Canadian.
He was Canadian. Okay.
I believe he came from Essex area. Nope, that's wrong. He's from Essex.
From?
Essex.
Oh, Essex, England.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah.
So he would have came over early and then settled.
And he would have been here way before Clerg, right? Is that, yeah, kind of the thing, like he was, yeah.
Yeah, really, he was here 1870s, so he would have been here around the time of Clerg, but probably just kind of at the beginning of Clerg establishing.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
It's part of the rebellion led by Mackenzie, so he was involved with the military type thing. Again, not a great man.
Question. Pardon? He did
things. He was a judge, and I would suggest maybe reading into him a little bit more. I don't want to.
Yeah. Yep. I gotcha. So just say he was not well thought of in the end.
Yes.
Yep.
Didn't like Suzanne.
No. And yeah. And apparently where he's buried, the trees grow away from his grave. So that tells you something right there.
And that's not what gravestone is there currently. Is not the actual gravestone of Don Prince. We have it here in the museum.
Interesting. So so would someone take it and bring it to the museum? Like how? Like then would someone then put a placard out in the park saying this is where he was buried, kind of thing, and then?
Yeah. So they have the replica gravestone there now, which is like in the space, but he would have done 1870s, so probably when they would have turned it into the healthy park that it is today, they would have removed the original tombstone and put it into our museum. It's actually on the second floor. It's really heavy. I think it got put in here when they were fixing the skylight roof.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's here. I don't think it'll ever leave here.
No, and it's a replica, right? So it would be like what do you call it? A direct copy of the original. You have the original, but the one at the park, they would make sure it's the same. Yeah, same thing. Now, is that a common thing to create replicas, put them out in the public, and then museums hold on to the original artifact? Is that a general practice? That, I just wonder, like...
I think we tend to look at things like public art, and we display a lot of those statues and things like that in public. People can and grab and touch. In that sense, I think a lot of them are replicas. We look at education collections for sure, specifically. They're usually duplicates or extra pieces that we would have in the collection. So maybe I need something Turner thing. So I would put one in the education collection, so the collection interact, but then the original one I would say, right? So we do see replicas of the public art or things that are interactive for the most part.
That's neat. We have a message from Julia, who says, you remember Julia, it was craned onto the second floor. Hi, Julia. Hope all is well where you are.
Yeah, they craned it in here, and it won't be moved out until another crane comes.
I'm just surprised the floor holds it. That's all. Like, it's just when you think about how old that building is, right, and just how strong it must be, and the timbers, how wide they must be, and all that kind of stuff, right? Do you know of any cool time capsules that are awaiting opening? Hi, Julia. Is that something? Does the museum have any time capsules? We put you on the spot? Is that okay? Sorry.
Pretty sure there's only time capsules to be open soon, right? Like, we're looking at it 2020, so kind of that time planning for the future. You would look at it even year usually in the 10th. So I'm sure there is. Maybe not be something that would be looking.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking like a COVID time capsule, right? Just to see how many other viruses poke up their heads in the next 10 to 20 years, right? But it's not like, there's a timer on a box somewhere in the building that suddenly sets off an alarm and boom, it's open. That'd be kind of fun. But
that would be cool. I haven't played that game.
We want that to happen. No, we don't want we don't want surprises at the museum. It's all good. It's too funny. So with you did mention earlier, right, that you got a really lovely donation from the city, from the police, right? Will they have like their own room? Like what happens when you have such a huge collection of wonderful things given, and then and there are hundreds of thousands of artifacts in the collection? I love it. So if you took care of one per day, you'll end up with lots of gray hair. Is it starting? Yeah. So what happens? What happens when you get a big huge collection like the police force is given, and then what do you do with it? Where does it go?
Yeah, well, first thing obviously is we document it, we catalog, we collect it all, we make sure that it's in our database, and then we store it properly.
So maybe for folks who don't know, is that like you're photographing, you're writing descriptions perhaps, right?
We would take the artifact, assign it a number, we would do a description of it, what its condition is like, so good or fair, so on, the materials that make up the artifact, and then we would have put a picture as well as a, what's the word? Assessment. So we would take either a picture or a drawing of the artifact, and if there's any damage, you don't where the are.
Yeah, you have to take stock of the condition that the piece is in, right? So that you know historically how accurate, like down the road, has it deteriorated or not over time, and that sort of thing, right? So, yeah, that makes sense.
We store it in our storage areas, and then in terms of exhibition or displaying different types of artifacts, and like mentioned, we have over 100,000 of artifacts in the collection, so it's a bit difficult to get everything on display, but
Yeah.
we do try to rotate our exhibitions. So our Durham Gallery, which currently has, which we launched earlier this year, and not a lot of people unfortunately got the experience, but it'll be up for probably the rest of the year. Our The Lens exhibit, so partnering with CPD.
Right.
So
That's a yeah.
the spring. As well as we launched our marine exhibit on the third floor. Our music and sports exhibits have been revamped a bit. And the director, we're looking at updating our Skylight Gallery as well. So possibly having an area to display the police force. We are CFA or CFF, our KP collection.
Mm-hmm.
See, Rob just said that.
Yeah. Smarty pants. Yeah. No, but that's great, right? Because I mean, as museums go, it sounds like the Sioux Museum has quite a extensive collection of materials for the size of the city, and you kind of put those two things together, right? So it's really quite a gem, and it would be nice if once this whole thing kind of straightens out, we kind of figure out how to make it safely accessible again and all that kind of stuff, that folks come marching through and take a look at things and and just sort of see what the history is of this place, because it's I find it interesting that Clerg was happy. Clerg, I think, for the most part, was happy to be here. He was coming up with ideas. He was trying to figure out how to make things work. He obviously was successful to quite to a certain extent, right? Contrasted with Prince, who was maybe a bit of a grumpy Gus about the whole thing, right? And it's interesting even now, folks. There seems to be like two camps: the folks who are like, "Oh, the Sioux is great and lovely," and then you've got like, the grumpy Gusses that are like, blah 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 blah. So, but I think if one takes the time to take a look at the history of what's here, and there's quite a bit of awe involved, right? A lot of humbling experience that one can be part of, and just realize just what it took for this place to come to be, kind of thing, right? Like it didn't just spring up yesterday. It was it took a while. So,
absolutely. And we're trying to do our best to share some of that. I don't want to tell people to go check out their Instagram and Facebook, but if you do the stuff that we've been sharing, I've been trying to kind of take us back a little bit further to how the changes might have happened in Sault Ste. Marie. So right now, we have Queen Street, Bay Street, all those things, but before that, it might have been way different, or built with different, or stage and the Sioux. Over time, but the history is so vast and comprehensive that there's something, I think, for everyone to draw a little bit from. Right? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, and I think in order to move forward, we kind of have to know what happened in the past, so that we don't not necessarily we don't make the same mistakes, but just that we learn from the past, right? And that moving forward, we have stronger relationships with all groups that are in the area, and that folks aren't being isolated or separated out, and that it's very inclusive, and that we all work together to make life better, right, for everyone here. So kudos to you for being the holder of the history. Here, someone's got to be the keeper, right? So I'm glad it's you. Oh, looks like someone is just looking for an excuse to visit. And stuck their tongue out at you. Interesting. I hope you know this person. These are good times.
We're doing, during our closure, again, there's some renovations in our Skylight Gallery, but we're going to be open to a rotated community space in there as well. So some of the groups that we partnered with, their work with, through the museum, we're looking to offer some space for them to exhibit some of their work. This fall, we also have planned a exhibit with the Jewish community of Sault Ste. Marie, so we're working towards that, depending on how things roll out. But again, making sure that we're able to tell not just this narrow view of the history of Sault Ste. Marie, but to open it up so people can connect with whatever they can connect
Oh,
with.
yeah. So there's just so many different groups that have come in so many different cultures, and it's important, I think, for everyone to see everybody's history come together and how one has affected the other and that sort of thing, and how one helps the other, which kind of brings me to it's just a thought that flies through my brain, but is there not something about the Marconi Center becoming more of a multicultural kind of center? Is that something that the museum would have a connection to, or is that's just something separate altogether? Like that's
It was their own project. I did read that somewhere else as well. I don't think it would be something that we would be opposed to working with them on or being involved in, but as of this moment, we haven't had any connection there. But
yeah,
again, it's an opportunity, right, to highlight those diverse groups better in the same way that we might not have displayed in some of our contemporary facilities. Like the old Swift House might have trouble displaying some of those things, or the Bush playing house and issues displaying that. But when we look at that type of thing, really making community hubs be Julia.
Oh yes, yeah. Well, community hub, exactly. Yeah. Well, I know that's what the Art Speaks project is very, very happy about. Is that the museum has been so very welcoming and so very understanding of the role of the arts and artist therapy in helping to create just a more positive, resilient populace, right? So again, thank you very much to Julia, who started it, and to yourself, who's continuing our relationship, and hopefully as we move forward, we can build on what we've already sort of done together, kind of thing, and yeah, I think especially in I don't know if we'll ever have post-COVID-19 days. I have a feeling this kind of, not to say that it's always going to be about this specific issue right now, but I think we're probably marching ourselves into a new time frame where we need to be a bit more cognizant of what we're doing to the natural world and how we're reacting, and our, we are going to be so much more reliant on the sciences and health and medical intervention, but we're also, I think, going to be far more dependent upon mental health services that help individuals. And the Art Speaks project is definitely a community project, but also a mental health community project. And I think that's really, really wonderful that the museum has embraced us so fully. And so I think that really does speak to, the museums are the holders of the stories of the community, right? And it's very much holding the heart of the community. And so to have a partner like ourselves in your building is, I think, a really wonderful fit and a good way to sort of just talk about our ongoing story and our ongoing history. As we work through all our emotions and all our ties to the everyday kind of thing, using art and storytelling and that sort of thing. So yeah, important stuff that we're doing together. So hopefully folks out there in Cyberland are bored to tears right now and are happy we're doing this sort of reminiscing and chitty chatty stuff. But hopefully, we've giving some company to people while they're creating, and giving them food for thought as well. We try, I guess. We try. And we've been at this like an hour and a half. Doesn't even feel like an hour and a half. It's like, nope.
Been nice.
Pardon me?
Been nice.
It has been nice. Yes, I hope it's been nice for folks out there. And folks, again, if you are working on pieces, I'm just going to do the thing again. Please send me a pic of the work that you've been working on. Just show you both here. Send it to theartspeaksproject@gmail.com. I've listed that address on our Instagram post as well as our Facebook post. And just send us a pic of whatever you worked on, whatever was in progress. If you had a story, maybe some of you have been writing, maybe thoughts have been coming to you while Will and I have just been, talking a way about life in the Sioux and the history of the Sioux. Poetry is great. Story, a small video, an image, anything at all that you've been working on while we've been here would be great to have you send along, and I'll be sure to post it on Facebook and Instagram. And again, apologies to those of you watching on Facebook. It's, at least from my end, we're getting this glitchy thing happening, and I'm not really sure what that's all about, but hopefully it won't happen the next time we do one of these things. And on Instagram, the Children Museum joined. Hello. We're good. I think we still have, it's not gonna stop on us for another 20 minutes, so we're still good to keep yibber-yabbering away, if you are in the mood, sir, to keep yibber-yabbering. And we thought in terms of a theme, right, folks, we were trying to sort of wish the rain away, but like we said, April showers bring May flowers, so, and we're also just looking at this Victorian piece that Will has pulled out of the holdings at the museum, right? A lovely floral design made with organza and feathers and just lovely subtle shades of different kinds of white. Who knew there are that many different shades or different tints of the same tonality? Maybe it's a bit faded, maybe it isn't, but we've got some really nice whites, some blush yellows, a little bit of pink happening here and there. But for the most part, it seems to be made from feathers and maybe a little bit of fabric. Just really stunning, right? So someone took a lot of time. So lovely to see that in the museum in a shadow box. And so here's a question for you. So someone obviously donated that years ago, or whenever they donated it, kind of thing. Now, do you ever not accept things? Like, do you accept everything, or how does that work exactly?
We would love to accept everything.
Okay.
Unfortunately, again, our museum is only as big as it is. And with the amount of stuff that we have in our collection, it does become a bit difficult.
Yeah.
So when we look at collecting or accepting donations, we're really focused on the history, again, of Sault Ste. Marie or the community museum here, but as well the district. So we try to take whatever we can that would surround that kind of a mandate, but as well look at things, again, like I was talking about the education collection earlier, we don't want to take the same thing because we have use for six of the same thing, right? So
exactly, yeah.
Use certain guidelines to guide us. Like I said, again, I would love to take everything. My house is another town, so I'm a little bit biased, but we do have to respect the space and the capacity in which we're able to preserve and take care of items as well, right? Yeah,
there's quite literally that in order for something to last for another 50 years, you have to make sure there's enough space, enough quality control, right, in order, and you want the best of those 6 things that are donated. You don't want 6 mediocre things. You want one of the best, right? So you do have to be choosy, right? And so folks shouldn't get bent out of shape about that. But no, just to say, like, it may be sentimental to the person who's donating, but at the same time, if it's not something that really suits or has already been repeated, then you can't really be sort of, banging on the door saying, take it, that kind of thing. Yeah. And it's not like you purchase things from people either. Like, there's no, it's a out donation kind of thing. Yeah. So, which is, that's good.
Yep. And again, we're not able to take it. We do try to recommend other museums, maybe in the Alberta area or other places that might take some things as well. So we don't just leave it in the garbage. We try to find someone, or at least suggest you to someone who might take the history as well, or maybe lacking in that portion of that they are missing. Okay,
well, that's good to know. And so in the Sioux, obviously, the museum is the museum kind of thing. So is the Ermitinger considered a museum as well, or I suppose, right? The Ermitinger Clwyd historical site. That's specific to only Clwyd's history, I would think, right? Is that, yeah?
So when we look at museums, we tend to have different kind of categories on a broader sense of what we fall into, and then it's really our mandate which prescribes us on how we're going to operate. So we have a community museum like us. We'll have things like zoos or art galleries or art museums. We'll have things like living history museums. So a little closer to the urban tenure, maybe like Black Creek a little bit more, and then we would have things like national historical sites or parks. So we cover a really broad spectrum as a museum field. But there is no defining organization currently at this time which lays out the laws of what a museum is. So, I mean, you can open up a museum whenever you want. If you want to get funding, that's another story. The term museum isn't a coined term or a term that you have to...
Okay. So to say, if someone had a toothpick collection and wanted to open a museum in their garage where they showed off their toothpick collection, they could do that. And no one would say, boo, kind of thing, right? They could even charge a nickel and you could go take a look at the toothpicks.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's very good.
But again, there might be some things involved in when you're charging, so you might have to look at the business side of things, but museum, I mean, you could open a toothpick museum in my garage in the back corner and come see my toothpick sculpture. There's something with...
Don't tell me that exists. Does that exist? Somewhere?
I don't... Probably. There's one of the gerbils or hamsters or something.
I think you've gone too far now.
There's things like they have top hats and they're saying things to each other and they're doing sports.
Are they taxidermy gerbils? Is that what you're saying? They're stuffed? Oh, that is unsavory. I'm sorry.
You can put it in museum membership or anything, I'm sure.
Lordy. Oh my goodness. Whew. All right. Well, that's a far cry. Well, you know, that kind of actually reminds me of the Victorian era. They might do something like that. Since they did love to stuff things. Oh my. Interesting. You learn something new talking to you every time. I tell you. Thank God. Oh my goodness. Oh lordy. So, okay. So I'm just making curly cues because man, oh man. Yeah, a little bit of green. There you go. A little bit of strange looking flowers. Yeah, we're just gonna keep testing till the end of the pandemic and see what happens. Testing for sure. Holy cats. Well, that was an eye opener. Thank you for that. Cause I always wondered, oh, someone say something? We visited a drive-through outdoor sculpture museum. Real neat. Yes. Those are neat. You know what is interesting? If one has ever driven between St. Marie, Michigan and Marquette, somewhere along that drive, I think it's like halfway through, there's almost like a folk art outdoor garden kind of thing where this guy took all different kinds of rusty machinery and remade them into all kinds of sculptural forms, a lot of like alien ships and monsters, and you have to, and it's like on this tiny little river kind of runs through it, and it's all woods, so you kind of walk through this trail and you're suddenly there you are, and there's this like big dragon kind of thing, or there's an alien spaceship kind of thing made out of like oil drums and different kinds of parts of tractors and stuff like that. So so it's interesting, this whole, and also I remember too when I was in Nova Scotia years ago, just the whole folk art everyone had in their front yard, or all kinds of things, made from chainsawed logs and carved logs and different kinds of things like that, and wildly painted bright colors, and why not, right? It bides the time, it creates some income, it's interesting. What the hell? Might as well enjoy, right? Yeah.
Be creative and put it on display.
Sorry?
So be creative and put it on display. Why not?
Why not? Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, that's very true. So, do you think the museum would ever engage in a make your own sculpture day kind of thing, and then put them around? Well, I guess you don't have much in terms of the yard. Not much in the terms of property. You'd have like the flower areas up front.
It's become a little bit difficult.
Lake and Land in Marquette. There it is. I think that's it. Yes. I think our friend Rob has been there. Maybe. Unless he's really good at Google. I don't know. But yeah, I think that might be it. Thank you for finding that. There's also a statue of Sasquatch nearby. Not part of Lake and Land, but as you're driving to Marquette, I can't remember the town, but there's a Sasquatch that you can pose with. He's quite metallic. I think he's like a brass or bronze or something like that. Big. I don't know. There's lots of stuff. Lots of neat stuff out there, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have like a favorite artifact? Do we ask you about that?
How do I have a favorite artifact?
Do you have?
No.
No? Maybe?
Not really.
I know the Victorian era was like huge for you, but is there, I don't know, a neat object that you found that you just was like, what the heck is this? And just thought it was great.
Too much stuff.
Yeah, well, I can imagine. Yeah.
It kind of changes every once in a while, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was working on selling the CCD exhibit, I was really, really into, like, cameras and the old video cameras and the kind of processes of photographic history. I mean, I did the art, so it kind of resonated with me, but
yeah.
Just thinking that I kind of find and look into a bit more ends up being interesting. Yeah, it's hard to think.
Well, and for sure, right? Like in the kind of work that you're doing, right? You would hope that every day would bring you something new that you would be interested in and excited about, and yeah, that's the beauty, I think, about working in the field that you're in too, right? And being a history buff too. So yeah, there's just so much potential for wonder almost every day. So that's pretty neat in that regard. Yeah, and I still think it's really cool that the 49th Field Regiment is so like they're the holders of the museum kind of thing, like they're the holders of the artifacts and stuff like that, and yet the museum is not full of like military doodads. I mean, there are samples and examples of pieces from various military periods, but the fact that it is very much about the history of the area and the Sioux is wonderful. Yeah, that's really great. So yeah, kudos to them for having the foresight to find a place. Oh, Shelley's saying goodbye. She looked up the language of flowers and sweet peas speak appreciation. That's lovely. Thank you for the fun archive. You're welcome, Shell. We'll see you later. It's kind of weird saying see you later because it's only ever going to be like this, right? Like until we're released, but that's fine. It works, yeah. I mean, thank God for technology too, right? That we're able to actually do this, which is wonderful. So yeah, we have to thank Alan Turing for developing the computer way back when.
And Ada Lovelace, don't forget Ada Lovelace.
No, that's right. Yes. Gotta think.
What daughter of Lord Byron?
Is she?
I think so.
Is she? Okay. Well, let's just say that. And someone will prove us wrong or not.
Again, too many podcasts.
I know too many podcasts, too much information. And Corona brain, yeah. I hear ya. Lovelace was the daughter of Byron, maybe. I'm getting close, I think, to getting cut off pretty soon. I think Facebook is going to give us probably another 15 minutes, and I think, yeah, probably. I don't see a timer yet on Instagram, so I think we might still be doing okay. And also I wanted to say, Mother's Day is coming up May 10th, I seem to remember. And so, I think so, yeah, it's a Sunday, right? So I think originally, you and I had planned that we would have at the museum on the 9th an archive for Mother's Day. And so that's not going to happen. So Chandra and I have been speaking, and we'll figure out a date, and we'll do an online special for Mother's Day for folks, for mothers of all types. I think how it's gonna work, because not all of us have our moms with us these days, and some are moms and some aren't. So just in general, it's maybe appreciation for Mother Earth Day. Who knows? Something. We'll figure it out. But so we'll see. We'll see if it'll be. I don't know if it'll be on the 9th, but we'll post it once Chandra and I figure it out. We'll post it, and we'll try to do the same thing that we're doing here, a split screen on Instagram, and then we'll see if we can broadcast with Facebook as well, and we'll just give it a shot and see what happens. And yeah, I think that'll be fun. And then eventually we'll get back into the museum. I think I don't know, we'll see, eh? We'll see how long it takes before the government does the rollout, right? I mean, definitely not before the end of May, from the sound of it.
No,
So,
same one.
yeah, but yeah, hopefully sometime in the summer, before the fall, maybe. We'll see. Yeah, but still, we'll continue with our online stuff. And would you be willing to guest again if we continue with this route? Yeah. Okay. All right.
If people have suggestions, maybe, or ideas, something
Yeah.
want me to show or talk about, anything like that too, I would be happy to post
Yeah.
that.
That'd be lovely. Yeah. If you heard this, Will is more than willing to co-host again. And if there's any kind of part of the collection at the museum that you are interested in, that you would maybe like him to show an artifact from, and you can speak to that artifact's history, and we can use it as a sort of the prompt for for that evening's work. Maybe just in the comments, write to us or send a note to the artspeaksproject@gmail.com. And I think this is also on Instagram at Soon Museum as well, right? So maybe there might be comments on there too. You can also, direct message, the DM aspect, yeah, or a private message on Facebook. So whatever you folks out there would like to see from the museum, just let us know, and we'll be back sometime in May, right? I think is how we'll do that. And I think Yvonne is saying thank you, Yvonne, for hanging out. Thanks. I'm glad it was enjoyable, because we never know. Will and I just like to talk, so we're glad it's been informative and fun, and yeah, these are good things, right? Yeah. And we're smiling, which is good, right? So this is a little bit of what I worked on, and hopefully, folks, you're going to send me pictures, and you can post your pictures online, the artspeaksproject@gmail.com, and good, Yvonne is laughing, so that's good. And so one day we might come up with a shorter email address. That was a miscalculation on our part. We were sitting there trying to figure out our Gmail. Yeah. So stay tuned for information from Chandra and I as to when we're going to hit the airwaves again and do some fun stuff in May, which is not very far away. I guess Friday is May 1st. So, and that's not as traditionally Labor Day in some countries. Yes, it is. I'm just trying to remember what political event the countries have. But it's mostly a European kind of thing. I think Labor Day in September is more of a North American kind of thing, and then Labor Day in Europe is often May 1st. So that's an interesting thing as well. And, yeah, all good stuff. Yeah. So, yeah. Any parting words you got there, man? We got 10 minutes, maybe. We're at 1:50.
Maybe just like to thank you for having me join you again. It's always a pleasure. Love having Art Speaks work with us, and we can't wait to have everyone back in the building again when that happens. As Maria mentioned, stay tuned for their May Art Speaks for Mother's Day, as well as what's coming up in terms of partnership for us. May see a month. Which we had hoped to have some exciting events to have people into the museum, but we're going to reevaluate that and hopefully bring some stuff to you guys, maybe digitally in a sense of that. But as you create art, if you're writing, if you're doing art, taking photos, taking videos, please save them, post them, share them, but as well, like we mentioned, we are looking at trying to document this current situation that we're all in. So I think that type of stuff would be fantastic for us to have. Just help people.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So a collection of COVID stories would be, I think, a really good start for a time capsule. And maybe not even a time capsule, but just an archive, right? Just to, for one's own edification, right? To keep a journal of what's going on. Just to sort of pay attention to what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're seeing. This is how you're reacting to things, and just, what are people's plans and thoughts and ideas about what happens once we sort of move on from this point in time right now, right? Like what could we possibly come up with as a new scenario for our new normal kind of thing, right? So all good stuff, right? And and I think it's really lovely that we are together alone in community, which is kind of a weird idea, but it works, I think, right? And just want to say again, thanks to everybody who has been signing in and showing up and participating and doing what you do at home during our times together for our Cyber Hive. I know it's just not the same as when we're together at the museum, but maybe too it offers an opportunity for folks who might not be able to get to the museum, an opportunity to still be in company with other people and still participate, even on a bit of an anonymous kind of level, but still able to work together and enjoy being in company with others and listening to conversations and different things like that, which is very much like we do at the Hive. My regret is that we don't have art supplies to give to people so that they could use them at home, and who knows, down the road maybe we can figure out how to do that, but I don't know if we can. But anyway, it's just a thought. We need a benefactor to help us do that part. But yeah, and it'd be cool. So that kind of thing. And just one last thing about the the Victorian piece, right, that you have behind you. There isn't a name on it or anything like that as to who did it or who donated it or anything like that, right? So it's just it as it is. Yeah. It. Okay, thank you. That's pretty wonderful. Okay, thank you. Oh my God. Okay. So I think we're gonna, shall we call it a night? Shall we head off? Shall we?
Sure.
Okay. You're easygoing. Thank God. Okay. Yes, we can ramble on for another hour and a half, but we will not do that to you folks. Okay. So thanks to everyone who joined in, and hope you had some constructive information from us and a chance to have a giggle and do some artwork at the same time. And definitely be back in 2 weeks, if not sooner, with Chandra, and we'll do a special Mother's Day event with her online as well. Okay? And we'll see. Oh, bye, Julia. And we'll see your smiling face in May again at some point. Okay. So take care. Thank you. Bye. 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 Do I hit the X? I'm going to hit the X on you now. Ciao. Bye, buddy. See you later. Woo. Woo. You're going. Whoa. Okay. Bye, everybody. Thanks a lot for hanging in there and bearing with us, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Now, if I can just figure out how to turn this off, we're good. Okay, ciao. Thanks a lot. Bye. Hope you have a good day. Night. Hi guys. Okay, so for those of you on Facebook, we're just turned off our Instagram feed. One last look at our Facebook image. Again, if you have any photos of works that you've worked on during this time frame, please email them to theartspeaksproject@gmail.com. Again, apologies for the glitchy video. Hopefully next time that doesn't happen. Who knows, maybe the rain is interfering with the signal. So take care. Hope you're well. Please, if you have any comments, any thoughts, any ideas for guests that you'd like to see on our art hive, or any kind of topic you'd like us to focus on in terms of an art media or art process, please just drop me a line at theartspeaksproject@gmail.com, or via Instagram. You can do a direct message inquiry through Instagram, and also on Facebook through Messenger and through the comments section. So take care, everyone. Stay safe out there and stay dry, because it looks like it's going to be wet for a few days. Thanks again for joining, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.